Hi guys, it's Miss Sai. Welcome to your last e-learning lesson for the week. Hopefully I'll see you all Monday. For this math lesson, you're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil. So if you need to get those things, go ahead and grab them, and then I will see you back here in just a moment. Our objective today is I can use arrays to solve word problems. We've talked about arrays before. So if you look at the picture of all the pink or purple circles and you think about the word array, think about what array means. See if you can think about what we've learned and what you remember about arrays. Do you remember that they have rows? If you remember, arrays have rows. Rows go across, just like in our number grid. Rows go across, and arrays also have columns. Columns go up and down. The special thing about arrays is that when we look at each column going up and down, every single column in an array is going to have the same number of objects. Same for the rows. When we go across the rows, each row has the same number of objects. And that's going to be really important in our lesson today. We need to remember that rows go across, columns go up and down, and in an array, rows have to have the same number of objects, and columns have to have the same number of objects. Let's take a look at this heart array. I thought that this was pretty appropriate for our friendship party that's going to be next Friday. But let's take a look. Here I have my array. I have my rows that go, which way do my rows go? My rows go across, just like when I'm counting by ones, 1, 2, 3, when I use my number grid. So I have a row of 3, a row of 3, and a row of 3. And then I have my columns. So I have a column of 3, a column of 3, and a column of 3. Now, what's interesting about arrays is that we can use them to help us make addition problems. The reason that we're working with arrays now is because when you get into older grades, you are going to work with multiplication, and arrays are going to help you with multiplication. But before we can get there, we need to work on addition. So if I'm going to make a number model for this array, I'm going to look at how many items I have in each row. So here I have my first row, 1, 2, 3, plus my second row, 1, 2, 3, plus my last row, 1, 2, 3, and I have my addition problem of 3 plus 3 plus 3. 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9. So I have 9 hearts in this array. Let's look at another array that might make you a little hungry. This is an array of donuts. Take a look at how many rows there are. Think about rows. When we're using our number grid and we're counting by ones, we go across. So rows go across. How many rows are there? You are right. There are 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many donuts in each row? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me tell you something pretty cool about arrays. If you're learning about arrays, you know that each row is going to have the same number of items. So if the first row has 4, how many is the second row going to have? Yeah, 4. How about the third row? 4. And how about the last row? 4. Man, these donuts look so good. I think I would eat, this orange one looks really interesting. Or maybe this one, or this one. I don't know. All of them do. Let's make our addition problem, our number model, for this array. Now, what's cool about arrays is that I can make my addition problem either by looking at the rows going across, or the columns going down? So the last one we did the rows. So let's do the columns. All right, so columns go up and down. So here's my first column and I have 4. How many in my second column? 4. How many in my third column? 4. And how many in my last column? 4. So now I have to add 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. And I can do that a few different ways. I can remember that my doubles, 4 plus 4 is 8, and 4 plus 4 is 8, and I can do 8 plus 8 equals 16. Or I could just count all the donuts on the screen. So we just made an addition problem for all of the columns going up and down. Why don't you press pause and make an addition problem for the rows? So use that piece of paper and the pencil, press pause, and make an addition problem for the number of donuts in each row going across. And then come back and let's see if we got the same answer. All right. When I look at my first row, I have 4 donuts. And when I look at my second row, I have 4 donuts. And when I look at my third row, I have 4 donuts. And when I look at my last row, I have 4 donuts. Wait, Miss Sai, look, these 2 addition problems are exactly the same. You're right. And the reason that they're exactly the same is because in this array, we have the same number of donuts in each column and in each row. So that's why the addition problem is the same. So hopefully you got 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. All right, let's take a look at a word problem, because if you remember, our objective is to use arrays to solve word problems. So now that we've had a little view of arrays, let's take a look at a word problem and see how we can use arrays to help us. All right, it says Invita, Reese, and Miss Sai all had 4 cookies. How many cookies did they have all together? Now, this problem is interesting because it didn't tell me how many rows I had. It just told me how many cookies each of us had. So I have to make my own rows. So first, I'm going to make my row of Invita cookies. And it says that we each have 4. Can you help me draw the row for Reese? How many cookies is Reese going to have? Oh, it says we all have 4. So I'm going to draw another row for Reese. Do you see when I am putting my cookies in this row of my array that they are nice and neat? Even if I go back to the donuts, they're all about the same distance apart, going side to side and going up and down. Same with the hearts. We want to make sure that our array is nice and neat, because if it's not, then it's technically not an array. So we need to make sure that when we are making it, we use our best drawing skills and we take our time drawing it. All right, help me make my row of cookies. All right, who can remember what I do next? I made my array, but I need to solve this word problem. You are right. I need to make my number model. Why don't you write your number model with me on your paper? I'm going to use my rows to make my number model. So I have 4 cookies in the first row. Those are Invitas. I have 4 cookies in my second row. Those are for Reese. And I have 4 cookies for me in the last row. I can use my array of cookies to help me count 4 plus 4 plus 4, or I can count by 4s. 4, 8, 12. Now, that was using rows. What if I used columns to make my number model? That's a little different. My columns go up and down. How many cookies in my first column? 3. How many cookies in my second column? 3. How many cookies in my third column? 3. And how many cookies in my last column? 3. Now, if I add correctly, I should get the same number of cookies because all I did was instead of counting the rows, I counted the cookies by column. So 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 3 is 6. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 12. Yeah, I got the same number. I used this as an example to show you that sometimes in an array, we can have rows that all have the same number of items, and the columns can have the same number of items, but the rows and the columns, those don't have the same number. In this example, there are 4 cookies in each row, but if I look at the columns, there are only how many cookies? 3. Let's try another one, and I'm going to really need your help with this one. You know that I go to a lot of meetings. So Mrs. Gibson was getting ready for one of my meetings, and she had 4 rows of 5 chairs. How many chairs did she have? Okay, that's a lot of information. It tells me how many rows I have and how many chairs that she had. So here is what I'm going to do. I am going to label my rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. It says that she has 4 rows of chairs. So here is where my chairs are going to go. You can label your rows. And in class, we also learned about drawing these lines and putting the items in the rows. Now, how many chairs are in each row? 5. So on your piece of paper, I'd like for you to make this array. Now, I did a Google search and found these cute little chairs down here, but you can just use circles. I would like for you to make your array and then come back and see if you get the same answer as me. All right, here's my array. Do you think that my array is correct? Mrs. Gibson was getting ready for a meeting. She had 4 rows of 5 chairs. How many chairs did she have? Do I have 4 rows of chairs? 1, 2, 3, 4. I do. All right, now do I have 5 chairs in each row? 1, oh no, 2, 3, 4. Oh my gosh, I messed up my array. I hope that you caught my mistake. Let me make some changes and I'll be right back. All right, take a look. Now is my array better? Yes, I fixed my array. All right, so now because the word problem told me how many rows she had and how many chairs, I am just going to make my addition problem using the rows. So if I go down here to where it says number model, and you can write it with me, how many chairs in the first row? 5. How many chairs in the second row? 5. How many chairs in the third row? 5. And how many chairs in the last row? 5. I hope that your array is nice and neat. Remember, you didn't have to use chairs. You could have just used circles or triangles or whatever shape you like. Circles are just the fastest. And when I count by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, I know that Miss Gibson had to put up 20 chairs. Let's do one more. I'm going to let you try this one on your own, and then you're going to come back and we're going to see if you got the same answer as me. The word problem says the cafeteria received a shipment of milk. In one milk crate, they had 6 rows with 4 cartons of milk in each row. How many cartons of milk did they have? So what I'd like for you to do is on your piece of paper, draw the array and write the number model. and then come back and let's see if we get the same answer. All right, let's take a look. To review, the word problem says the cafeteria received a shipment of milk. In one milk crate, they had 6 rows with 4 cartons of milk in each row. How many cartons of milk did they have? So, first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I have 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'm going to make sure that there's 4 cartons in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they go all the way down. When I look at my number model, I have row 1 is 4, row 2 has 4, row 3 has 4, row 4 has 4, row 5 has 4, and row 6 has 4. When I add all of these up together, I know that the cafeteria had 24 cartons of milk. All right, guys, I hope that you feel more confident using arrays to solve word problems. That was your job today. So now it's time for you to show me what you know. You have an assignment on Canvas, and you are going to complete that assignment and submit. It's called Friday Math e-learning. It will either be under assignments or in your work that you have to do today on the right side of your screen. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend. Hopefully, I will see you on Monday. Bye.